What do we tell our landlords and our property investors and people that have rental properties that we're managing? How do we tell them that they have to accept pets into their property? Or do we tell them they don't accept pets into their property? In today's video, I want to talk to you about managing properties with pets and landlords' expectations. I want to be able to help us to help them to eventually help the tenants to ensure that everybody gets what they want and everybody is happy. Let's go. In my last video about mortgages, I had a lovely lady who sent a message to me in the chat description below the video, and she said, her name was Pamela Willow 1526. She said, I am selling because I have had enough of new rules and regulations I'm not prepared to accept. I don't want pets in my luxury property because a past tenant had cats in there and the infestation of fleas was so bad I had to remove the carpets, the laminate and the dome skirting. I've had to pay damage done to my windows, and never mind all the other complaints from the tenants, from other tenants and the owners of the leasehold property. The cost was ridiculous and I won't go through that again. Tell me, what solution is there for that? She was extremely upset, clearly. So in this video, I want to go through a few things that a landlord can do, or as property managers that we can advise them to do in order to either accept pets in their property or not to accept pets in their property. Now, recently in the Tenant Fees Act 2019, the government have said that landlords and property managers cannot charge more than 5 weeks rent as a deposit for a tenant renting a property. And what used to happen prior to that act coming in is that agencies and landlords would charge a surplus amount of money to tenants who had pets. Now, if they had a pet, they would take an extra fee, an extra deposit. The amount they was charging was quite extortionate for some people. Sometimes it was warranted, sometimes it really wasn't, but ultimately this fee came in to protect tenants so that agents and landlords couldn't charge ridiculous amounts of money. Now, very recently there is going to be the Renting with Tenants Reform Act bill that is going to be coming into effect. We're not even too sure yet because it's still being spoken about by the government. So basically what this new act is going to, or this new bill is going to happen, it's going to be, sorry, I printed it off the government website, so they're trying to help me with the information. So the Renters Reform Bill will ensure landlords do not unreasonably withhold consent when a tenant requests to have a pet in their home, with the tenant able to challenge unfair decisions. Now, there's quite a lot of things around this. I'll put a link into the description box below so you can read up about it yourself, but there's so much different aspects to this specific reforms bill. What they're definitely going to be doing is amending the Tenant Fees Act of 2019 so that landlords can require insurance to cover the damages caused by pets living in the property, and that tenants also pay a tenancy deposit which can be used to cover damages that their pets have made and things like that. So yeah, there's quite a lot of information with regards to this new bill, but please have a read about it. I have friends who absolutely love their pets and consider pets as one of their, literally one of their children. They love their pets so much. So, I totally understand, and it can be extremely difficult for tenants that want to rent a property and and live with their pet, because pets become part of the family. They love them very much. But as a landlord, it can be very tricky. I understand that, as a landlord, if you have a tenant with pets, the pets can destroy furniture, and as that comment said from the lady in the comment section, they can cause so much damage. They can urinate and put feces in different places around the property, and if the person who is a pet owner doesn't is a very good pet owner, then they can technically damage the property to the extent where the landlord has to totally refurb the whole entire property So if you decide that you do not want to have pets in your property before obviously this new act comes in, these are some of the things I'm going to suggest that you can potentially say to your tenants, obviously, or say to the landlords, to say to the tenants if you're a property manager or an agent that is looking after properties. These are a couple of things I would suggest you could say, that are legal, so you don't get into any trouble. So in order for you to, let the person down gently that wants to live with their pet. Firstly, if it's a flat property, then I would say, the leasehold, I'm a leaseholder, and as a freeholder, I'm unable to let you rent this property because the terms of the lease say that pets are not allowed in the property, and if it's not in the lease, and I would say the block management, people who manage the block, do not allow pets in the property. Number two is a property is too small, whether it's a house or a flat, the property is too small and it does not it's not a very good fit for a pet in this property. Obviously pets need space, so having a 2-bedroom flat and there's lots of people in the property, it can be too close quarters for a property, especially if there's no garden for the pet to be able to go outside, obviously depending on if you've got a cat or a dog or that kind of animal. You can say that you want to protect the property against allergies because there's lots of people who are allergic to animal fur. So obviously if it's in a flat, of people upstairs, people below, the fur from the animal could affect the tenants who are living above them and living below them. You could say that you want to make sure that it's an allergy-free property, so that the people who, if they stay there, the people who then have to move in, you've got to get a deep end of tenancy deep clean, and that will cost a large amount of money. You're not allowed as a landlord to charge a tenant for end of tenancy clean. Whether they decide to clean it or not is entirely up to them. Obviously you're meant to give the property back in the same state it was given to they was receiving it. So as a landlord, you can just say, I'm so sorry, I need to make sure this property is allergy free. Conducting the references of your potential tenant, ideally before you've even conducted references, should I say, you need to ascertain as to how long the pet is going to be alone. Now, I did check on a few websites and they have said a pet shouldn't be alone for more than approximately 4 hours. So you need to ascertain as to how long the pet will be alone for, because if it's a cat or a dog, they shouldn't be alone for more than 4 hours. If it's dog, they'll make a lot of noise, there'll be a lot of barking, they'll be scratching on the door, they won't want to be by themselves. And especially all these new lockdown dogs, they had their owner with them for such a large amount of time, probably longer period of time than most pets normally would have in the working week, and they will definitely not want to be by themselves because they're not used to being by themselves, because they was a lockdown dog, they was with their owners such a long period of time. If you are the owner of a high-end property, then obviously the value of some of the materials in your property could be really, really expensive. And if that is the case, then you could refuse a pet on the grounds of the fact that a pet could destroy the furniture in the property, and the furniture is of such rare material, or don't cost so much money, you can't have any pets in the property. And if you find you do have a tenant that does have pets in your property, please read your AST, your assured short hold tenancy, the tenancy agreement that you have signed along with your tenant. Obviously, if you're a property manager, you can make sure you will know your tenancy agreements. So if there's a pet in there, there's normally an automatic clause in most tenancy agreements that says no pets allowed. So as soon as you notice that the tenant has got a pet in the property, you can immediately ask for an eviction. You can serve I think there's a specific section 8, I can't remember off the top of my head if I'm honest with you, eviction, where it says you're not allowed to have any pets, or serve a section 21, because ultimately they have broken their contract by having pets in the property, and you're not allowed to have pets in your property if you've signed a contract and it says you're not allowed to have pets. So that could be a terms of eviction for a tenant, so just bear that in mind. If you are one of these really fabulous landlords that does not mind at all having pets in their property, then there are a few things that you should consider also. So the first thing I would consider when getting a tenant with a pet is to meet the pet. You know, as a managing agent or as a landlord, meet the pet, see what kind of pet they are, see how excitable they are, see their personality. As we know, all pets and things have different types of personalities. Go and meet them in person, or get them to bring them to your office, meet them, see how they are, see what their characteristic is like, and that will kind of give you a feel as to how the pet owner is with that pet, if they have any control over them, if they can understand them, if you know, how that, just see the dynamics of that relationship. Number 2 is visit the pet owner in their current location. So where does a pet owner currently live? How are they living in that property? Does the property, no disrespect, but does the property smell? Is the carpet clean? Is the lino clean? You know, what is the way in which the person's living? That may seem extremely disrespectful, and that is not what I'm trying to mean. That is not what I mean to get here. What I want is, you know, for the relationship between the property owner and the tenant, for it to be a good, feasible, happy relationship. And if the property manager or the landlord goes to the potential tenant's property where they're living currently and see them living in a situation that they do not want their property to look like, then it makes sense that they would automatically just say no, because they're not taking care of where they are currently. Why would they then go and take care of the property you're looking after, or the property that you own, better than where they're living right now? And the last thing I would ask for is for the pet owner to complete a form about how the pet will be looked after. Now, this may seem a bit intrusive because, you know, you don't even have all this kind of information generally when you're, you know, just living in a property, but ultimately pets can be quite destructive. So we want to know from the pet owner, if something happens to them, who will look after the pet, because if they have to go into hospital and they're like a single person, who's going to look after the pet? Can we have their veterinary details and out of hours veterinary details? We need to make sure that, you know, if there's a dog walker, we have a dog walker's details. We just need to make sure it's almost like a next of kin information for the pet, because obviously you have next of kin information for the tenant. So if something happens to them, you can contact their next of kin. If something happens to the tenant and they need to go in hospital for whatever reason, or their family is away, then we need to be able to contact, you know, the pet's next of kin. In case you're not aware, I am Tanya Day, a virtual assistant and online business manager. I have been working with all sorts of property professionals, mainly property managers and estate agents and mortgage brokers within the property industry. I've been working in their back office, taking over their administration, their customer service, social media, and all sorts of things that enable them to concentrate on money generating tasks and tasks that they enjoy, and also been able for them to be able to spend time with their family and friends while I can take care of their business behind the scenes. Now, if this is something you'd be interested in, please send me an email. It's tanya@clearviewadministration.co.uk. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. If you could click on the notification bell, that'd be appreciated, although there's no pressure whatsoever. Just press the notification bell, that should be more than enough, and then YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video. Currently I'm uploading a video every single day, and eventually I'll be doing lots of different series and focusing specifically on property management and real estate agency based here in the UK. So I'm hoping I'll be able to share all sorts of different things with you based from where I am, which is a virtual assistant. So I've worked with so much different professionals within the property industry, and everything I've learned is from working with all these professionals, as well as being accredited by the Association of Residential Letting Agents. So I'll be able to share all this information with you. So I'd appreciate it if you watch the next video, because I'll have so much more things to share with you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.